And we are recording. Guess what, folks? It's not a fucking Sunday. No, it fucking isn't. It's actually a fucking Monday. Yes, it fucking is. Time for a rather late What's Up. So, it's like, oof, what a weekend this has been. So first of all, big thanks to the folks over at the Saturday Vape Show. Simon, Pugs, and the gang for having me on as a guest. It was the back half of it was basically a roast. It's essentially what their show's all about. If you haven't watched it, the replay link is going to be down there in the description, so go and have a watch. It was a rather fun show. It was a rather fun show, definitely. And of course, over the weekend, what's wrong with this light? Hold on, there we go. Over the weekend, on Saturday, the three episodes to do with ChemNovatic were all released at the same time. The first one, if you haven't watched them yet, part one is basic information about the company with a mini tour essentially of the facilities. Part two is all about nicotine. It's literally all about nicotine salts, hybrid nic, freebase nic, that kind of thing. And part three is more about the business side of the business side of ChemNovatic, the flavourings that they produce for different makers, and just, you know, the Vaping line of e-liquids that ChemNovatic also produce. It's a snapshot of the e-liquid industry from the perspective of one of the biggest nicotine distillers on the planet that are based in the European Union. So if you haven't watched that three-parter yet, go and have a look at the middle one, all about nicotine. That's probably going to be the one that's going to interest a lot of people out there, whether you're a brand new vapor or whether you're a hobbyist vapor that's been vaping for a number of years. That middle part, the part all about nicotine, that's rather interesting. There's full of very, very useful information about nicotine, especially if you're a DIYer. But yeah, we are now on what is essentially the beginnings of the closure of E-cig 101 Season 3. Season 3 was never going to be a long one, folks. It wasn't going to be a long one. There's 2 more episodes to go. Episode 6, which hopefully will be up next Saturday, which is the 25th, is a simple single flavour e-liquid DIY mix that I'm going to be mixing on cam. You can follow along as well if you have a look at episode 1 and 2 of this season. There's a little shopping list of stuff you can buy, and episode 7, which is the final episode, is going to be a multi-flavour mix, and that basically wraps up season 3. That final episode is going to be on March the 4th. That's when the final episode is going to be up. And then season 4, I think season 4 is going to be slightly delayed. So the way that this is going to be running, right, season 3 is ending on Saturday the 4th of March. Season 4 was supposed to kick in the week after, which is Saturday the 11th of March. I'm probably going to push that back a little bit to Saturday the 18th of March to give me a good couple of weeks run in to at least record the front half of the episodes. There's going to be no multi-episode release like I done with the 3-parter for ChemNovatic and like I done for season 1. It's going to be 1 episode a week for season 4, but season 4 is going to be a bastard. It's going to be a bastard. The way it's working out right now, it is looking like 15 episodes. So season 4 is going to run for 15 weeks, which takes us through the UK Vapor Expo, going into the beginning of summer. But there's just so much fucking stuff to cover. Mechanical mods, how to care for mechanical mods, how do mechanical mods work, the basic questions of what fundamentally makes an RTA better than a stock coil tank if properly worked on. What fundamentally makes an RDA better than an RTA and stock coil tank if properly worked on, like a good set of coils with good cotton in there. It's the basic questions. It's the basic questions. It is no secret to anyone out there. Just looking at the viewership numbers of this channel, and not just this channel, but practically all of the major e-cig channels across YouTube. The hobbyist side of the market is not collapsing, but it's shrinking. And it's been shrinking for a good 3 years now. A good 3 years now. And part of the major problem is what's happening in the centre of the industry. You've got stock coil sub-ohm tanks. Now the stock coil sub-ohm tank that you can buy today is fucking 10 times better than the stock coil sub-ohm tank you were buying 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or at the very beginning of the stock coil sub-ohm tank craze back in 2015, 8 years ago. Stock coil sub-ohm tanks these days, if it's made by a reputable maker, if it's a decent stock coiler with a decent stock coil with lots of wicking, can theoretically go head to head with an RTA. Single coil RTA, not dual coil. Dual coil RTAs are in a completely different category of their own, but you get a single coil RTA. Single coil RTA, and put it up against a decent stock coil mesh stock coil sub-ohm tank. You'll be hard pressed to find the difference between the two when it comes to flavour. I'm just stating a fact here. You will be hard pressed to find a difference. Now, I'm not saying that every single stock coil tank manufacturer has a tank that will go up against a single coil RTA. They don't. They don't. But if it's a reputable maker, and they know how to make those coils, I challenge anyone in a blind test with a single coil RTA, wicked and coiled perfectly, and a single core, not dual core, not triple, single core, wide open, stock coil sub-ohm tank, both running at relatively the same wattage, both with the same e-liquids inside them. I challenge anyone to find the difference between the two when it comes to flavour. That's how far stock coils have come. And this is one of the reasons that a vast swathe of the middle of the market, the stock coil sub-ohm tank users, are looking at RTAs, looking at RDAs, looking at mechs, looking at high wattage LiPo-based devices, looking at squonkers with the rebuildable drippers on top, and they're looking at it going, what's the point? Why? Why go down that road when I've got a stock coil sub-ohm tank here that's doing the same trick? It's the fundamental questions that need to be answered. And if Season 4 entices even 50 new people to step away from the middle of the market and go into rebuildables, the job's done. The job's done. That's 50 extra people buying the latest RTA. That's 50 extra people buying the latest RDA. You know, it's not going to stop the collapse, or not the collapse, it's not going to stop the slow decline of the hobbyist market, but it's going to slow it down a little bit. Just a little bit. I've left Second Life open because I'm a fucking idiot. Yes, I have. It's going to slow it down a little bit, but there's no mistaking it that the hobbyist side of the market is shrinking. It's been shrinking for a good number of years now. Part of the problem is the stock coil sub-ohm tank kits, especially now with the stock coil sub-ohm tank kits that have been coming out recently that have got damn good flavour with damn good coils. There is, technically speaking, no point in RTAs unless it's dual coil with a couple of good coils in there. Single coil RDAs, you don't see many of them kicking around now because they're going back down the road of dual coil RDAs for even more flavour and more vapour. But yeah, Season 4 is going to be a bastard because it's going to be covering a whole lot of stuff. And it's got to be worded in a way that pod users will understand, and that's going to be the bastard part. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a tough one to record, though. Also, if you are going to the UK Vapor Expo in May, and you're going to be taking the West Coast train. Avanti West Coast, in other words. I would book your tickets as soon as you possibly can. There is five other events going on at the NEC during that same weekend. The first weekend of May was a write-off for the NEC because Chucky is getting a crown stuck in his head. King Charles III is getting coronated on the first weekend of May. So all of the events that should have went on the 1st of May, including the UK Vapor Expo, moved to the weekend after. But it's not just that. There was also events going on that second weekend of May that all of the events that should have went on the first weekend of May have now sat on top of. So the NEC is going to be very busy. Very busy. Just in general when it comes to that second weekend of May. When I went over to look at the ticket prices, half of the listings for the late morning, early afternoon train journeys from Glasgow Central to Birmingham International, they were unavailable. They were either fully booked, which they could have been, although this early on, I don't know, but they were either fully booked or Avanti's staggering the releases out over the next 2 or, well, not 2 or 3 months, over the next 1 or 2 months, so everyone's got a chance of getting a ticket. But it's going to be basically guaranteed that those standard and standard premium coaches are going to be fully booked long before the Vapor Expo comes round the corner. So if you are taking the train to the UK Vapor Expo, I would book your ticket for that train sometime this month. Don't leave it too late, otherwise you'll have to get a flight. And there's another problem. There's only 3 flights, at least as far as I know, looking from the timetables. There's only 3 flights a day from up here in Glasgow going down to Birmingham International. It won't be long until those are fully booked as well. So if you are travelling down on train to the UK Vapor Expo, I would get your tickets booked quick, booked very quick, because there's 5 other events on during that same weekend. It's going to be a very busy place, very busy place. Also, if you haven't booked your hotel, good luck. That's all I'm saying. Because I was looking at the NEC, and along with all the hotels that are surrounding the NEC for that particular weekend, a lot of them are looking fully booked already. Good luck if you haven't booked it yet. There might be some available at the Premier Inn NEC, where me, Aidan, Adam, Sean Grizz, and a load of other reviewers are going to be staying at, but there is no guarantee. You can thank King Charles III for this, folks, for having his coronation during the first weekend of May, because that's when the Vapor Expo should have been on, the first weekend of May. But because he's getting a crown stuck in his head in Westminster Abbey, at least I think it's Westminster Abbey, because he's getting a crown stuck in his head, everything for that weekend's basically been cancelled, because that whole weekend is a statutory bank holiday. So yeah, we're now on the second weekend. That's when the expo is going to be taking place. I think a lot of you would have already booked by now, though. I think a lot of you would have. If you haven't, I'd do it now. I'd do it now. Yeah, especially the trains and the hotel. I would do it now. Just get it over with. Do it now. Anyway, I think that basically covers it, folks. There is some stuff coming in, but they're stuck at Stansted right now. Thank you, Customs. Yeah, they're stuck at Stansted. The Meson RTA and the Meson AIO was shipped out from a Chinese warehouse on February the 2nd. The fucking 2nd! And after it left the warehouse, it's been no tracking since then. So it's stuck at Stansted. It must be. Stuck at Stansted. I don't know why, because there's usually no problems with shipping when it comes to Steam Crave stuff. It usually passes straight through. They must have not filled out the customs form right, so I don't know. There's also a couple of bits and bobs coming in from Aspire, either this week or next week. A couple of bits and bobs from Geek Vape, I think it's another pod kit from what I remember, this week or next week. So things are slowly starting to return to normal after the Chinese New Year. But yeah, I have got quite a number of reviews that have piled up. So tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Oh, that's right, it's Pancake Tuesday tomorrow. Lent begins on Ash Wednesday. I almost forgot about that. Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Tuesday tomorrow, because Lent kicks off the day after. Well, that means it's going to be Easter soon. Wow, it feels as if this year is just going and it's going to be fucking Christmas again. What the hell? But yeah, what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, there's going to be a load of reviews up tomorrow. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and possibly even Saturday, there's going to be a review of some description. I want to kick off the NET reviews this week. It should have been last week, but with the ill health and stuff that's went on, I've had to push the NET reviews back. So I want to kick off the NET reviews this week. That will probably go up on Thursday. So Tuesday and Wednesday will be hardware, Friday and Saturday will be hardware, and also on Saturday, hopefully, fingers crossed and touch wood, the first of the mixing episodes from Season 3, the back end of Season 3, E-cig 101 should also be up as well. I'm still waiting on one particular item arriving from Amazon Shopping. Nitrile gloves, basically. Nitrile gloves for handling the 72mg Nick. They should have arrived last week, but they didn't. I don't know what the fuck Amazon's playing at, but I'm waiting on them arriving first before I start recording the mixing section. You know, got to be all careful and stuff. You know, 72mg Nick, you must wear nitrile gloves in case you get a little drop of Nick in your finger, your bare skin, which is not good. Trust me, that's happened to me a couple of times and it wasn't fucking good. It really wasn't good. Anyway, I think that's it, folks. Yeah, I think that's it. There's nothing much else to talk about. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy week on the channel this week, folks. So keep an eye on the videos. If you're an NET fan, the first of a line of NET reviews should be going up this week as well, from Drake's and, of course, from the fine folks over at the Juice Cabin. That's it from me, folks. And, yeah, have a good one.